Hey everyone, welcome to the Mastermind Book Club. This week we are going over a book that was recommended by Charles Comer. Charles, can you give us the title and the author of this book by any chance?
Yes, it's The Millionaire Mind, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eckert.
That's right, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Thank you, Charles, for recommending this book. This book has hit me exactly where I needed, my pockets. Literally, figuratively, it is incredible, this book. And I want to thank you, Charles, for recommending it. We've listened to some of his other books, and there some of the things overlap, but this book hits exactly where I needed to hit. The pockets. That's right, my pockets. Now, I wanted to share two or three of the things that I learned from this book very quickly. I'm not going to take very long. Number one is prayer, very simple prayers. Prayer, and that's very powerful for me. If you ever come across something in your life, this is very important. Ask the Lord or the universe, as he says, because some people don't like to refer to God as Lord or and so on. So as the new universe, which is a respectful way of saying infinite intelligence and so on. Lord, if anyone has something great coming to them and they are not willing to receive it, send it to me. Send it to me. Send it to me. What does this mean? And this is the big question. What does it mean? Did you know that if you want to, you're a money magnet? That's what this means. If you see a penny on the street, pick it up. If you're sent money, take it. If you're given a trip, take it. Don't let it go. Because the big question would be, are you a poor receiver? Are you a poor receiver? Most people who want to become successful are poor receivers. They don't want to receive. Well, guess what? When are you planning to expand your receiving box? If you see $1 on the street, pick it up. If you're sent money from the government, take it. You didn't ask for it. They're giving it. This is what Charles Ecker says. When will you become open to receiving? This really hit my heart. This is something that I wish I would have had a long time ago, because I'm open to receiving, but the prayer, the simple prayer, makes it more powerful. The becoming aware of receiving makes it more powerful. Sometimes we just want to give. And when it's time to receive, we don't want it. And in order to be successful with your pockets, you've got to be able to receive. There are many other instances where I can go over T. Harv Eker that are worthwhile. Now, this book, I won't kid you, it sells you on his programs. It sells you on going to his events, which I'm sold on. I want to go to his event. I want to go to his event. I don't know if any of you want to go to his event, but I feel it's time for me to go to his events, If I don't go to his events, then things might change. They might not work properly. Meaning getting my pockets filled with large sums of money. Now, before we move on and get your input, the second thing that I want to let you know is about 4 years ago, I decided to completely stop doing my transportation business. And I stopped. And I went from almost making $500,000 a year to practically zero. I stopped the work completely, and I did one or two jobs. Then I had a hard time getting up back to where I was until about a year or two ago. So 2 or 3 years ago, I started to get out of that slump in life because I decided I didn't want to work that way anymore. Meaning, I was working anywhere from 12 to 16 to 20 hours a day. I didn't want to do that. I didn't have a life. Many years ago, when I decided to do this, the first step I took was about 10 years ago or so, when my kids were ready to play baseball. I said, I've got to stop working weekends, and then I've got to stop working Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that wasn't easy. And slowly but surely, I stopped doing that and I got my life back. Now I'm on the verge of surpassing what I was doing back then, monetarily wise. How have I done it? I've persisted, and the universe gives you exactly what you deserve, what you need, and what you ask for. So if you're receiving right now, whatever it is that you're receiving is because you deserve it. Are you asking for more? Are you persisting in reaching out to increase whatever it is that you want? You see, most people want more money, but for the first thing they do is, if I only had, then I would do. That's how poor people think. If I only had, then I would do. But how do rich people do it? I will do this in order to have this. So just reverse the order. Do what you got to do. Do you have to work 24 hours a day to get it? No, no. But you've got to be aware of it 24 hours a day. And Harv Eker points out to something that I like. I take time off for myself, for my family, for my friends. We're here in this book club. I'd say this is time off on one end, but it's quality time. I'm spending it with you who are interested in building your knowledge account, as I say in my investing classes. To earn, you have to learn. To earn, you have to learn. That's what T. Harv Eker said, right? How many of you are learning to earn? And guess what? Next book's week, which I'm going to post tomorrow morning, is a complement to this book. And I really appreciate that, Charles. So now I'd like to open up so that each and every one of you has a chance to say one or two things that you learned from this book. You're welcome to start. I'm going to call you out in the order that you came in. And then if you don't like that, then we'll move on to the next person. Gina, are you able to talk and tell us and enlighten us on what you learned from this book? Probably not available.
Okay, David, sorry
There we
about that.
go. All right,
Yeah.
Gina. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. You change your mindset and you change your life. That's, if I would say, that would be the overall idea that I got from this book, that we are operated, we, unconsciously operated by things that we have learned in the past, especially about money. And we tend to replay those out in our lives, unconsciously, as I mentioned, in not knowing what we're doing. And so if we find ourselves in a certain situation, it's probably because we have, viewed this from perhaps our, when we were growing up, what we learned from our parents, people in authority figures rather, and we continue to play those same things out and not realizing that that's what we're doing. So we, until we are able to get to the point, where we realize, these things, then we are not able to change.
Correct.
So it kind of, the book, guides us into becoming more conscious, so to speak, of the way we operate. And, just, I guess, one of the things that we can do is just look around and see, are we living the life that we want to live? And if, the answer is no, and probably for most people it is, it's time to come out with a different mindset to, learn new tools, which this book provides, so that we will be able to live the life that we want to live rather than being on autopilot, so to speak. So that would be what I said. I can go into more detail, but I'll give the rest of you a chance to go through what you want to input on the book. But very, very good book. I want to read it over and over again and adapt, some of the things that, the suggestions that are on there. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Gina, is it crazy, or does it sound like you were sold on his program as well?
I'm absolutely sold on his program. And I've heard of him when I was in college several years ago. Someone was talking about T. Harv Eker, and, he sounds like he was in awe. It's like, this guy is really awesome. But I hadn't really paid that much attention,
Me neither.
into him.
Lately.
But you've heard of him before, right?
I have, but
Yeah.
I didn't pay much attention, and now I'd like to go to one of his seminar and see what it's all about.
Right, right. And I'm not
take
even
it
sure
from
he's still alive, but
I think
anyhow.
he is. I think
Yes?
he is.
Okay.
He's young.
Okay,
I think he's
fantastic.
young.
Yeah, he's 67.
67.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I heard about him in 2008 through a friend of mine, Les Brown.
All right.
Ah,
All right. Huh. Wow.
okay.
Very good,
A
Charles.
friend of yours. Les.
All
Woohoo, Charles. Look at you.
So
Okay.
thank you, Gina. And well, after we go through everybody, you can add on, and because it sounds very interesting what you're saying, and you reminded me of something I can also add if no one mentions it. Martha, what did you learn?
Actually, this book that you said before is very powerful, and they have a lot of good information between mentality of the mindset between rich people and poor people, and really you have to change your mindset to be able to get what you want in life, to be rich and whatever your dreams. And for me, is he's saying in the book, you created your own life, promote yourself, and this is the truth. We always go with the flow, people. You always follow the crowd, and we don't stop to think what I couldn't do better in life. And for me, I always follow the crowd, and all these books I have changed my mind in different ways for the goodness. Like you remember when I met you, I was quit my job to start helping my daughters with the babies, and I quit my daughters because I need to do my own life.
And it's tough. It wasn't easy, right? It was not easy.
It was tough because you get attached to the babies. You get very attached.
That's right.
And you get sentimental, and you have to do it because you won't do your own life. And they grow up one day and they want to go away and do their own lives too. So sometimes you have to be selfish. You don't want to, but you have to. You have no choice.
Beautifully said, Martha, by the way. Beautifully said.
Yeah, sometimes for your own good, because you have to live your own life. You just can't go with a family all the time. You have to have your freedom. And another thing that he said, you have to be very grateful, and you have to, when the rich people, you had to celebrate. Like, Donald Trump, you had to celebrate. He's a rich person and be grateful for that. Like you say, you had to pray. You had to pray. You had to be grateful. You had to have a meaning in life. What do you want? It's another thing. We are all energy. We receive energy, and um, we give energy to another people, and we have to be always positive. And we have energy is going to be block our dreams, like in negative energy. You have to move on. You have to go away. You can't be close to that type of the type of people, and because it's when it stop you follow your dreams. He talking about the blueprint. The blueprint in everybody else is very important. He's talking about in the book about, he said money is very important. Money give you freedom. Go be we have to be money and happiness. We have to go with both. Poor people always complain, blame it, and not good enough. And rich people is totally opposite. They take the risk. They follow. They take both. Either they don't know they're gonna make money, but either they take the risk. They don't care. They try, and sometimes we're afraid, and our fear sometimes stop us to do what we want. I'm learning from him to manage your money. It's another thing, you have to control your money, because either you make money, but he said you can lose the money if you don't control it. So you have to manage your money. He was talking about the book, and you have to have like a 4 different accounts. When you get your paycheck, when you get your money, then when you can split your money in 4 different accounts to try to save 10%, 10%, and then 50%. So you have to be careful with the money, because it's sometimes we say, oh, we're rich, but you have to manage. Like I always say, don't work too hard, just work smart. It's another thing I learned when I came to this country. And that's true. Try to work smart and then work hard. And, he talking about investment. He talking about I put it over here. Investment. He say rich people using commissioner, stock auctions, profit sharing, and business. That's what the rich people doing to make the money. And he talking about something about we have four different rounds, like physical work, mental work, emotional work, and spiritual work. And the physical work is controlled by all 3, by the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. It's talking about the money, health is a result, illness as a result, and money is a result of whatever we live into the world is going to affect us. And I totally agree, and I totally believe in what he say in this book. Give you a lot of good lessons, the way we can change our life for a better. And I think I had to listen to this book like 2 or 3 times, because it's a lot of good information to become a better person and become more economically stable. And that's what I want. I try to work now with the different type of dressings for me to make. And working now, and after I read the book, it gave me more power to try to experiment and do something better, and to try to make money and more myself as a businesswoman. And I pass to Shirley now. I can continue to talk because there's a lot of things I put on a piece of paper.
Martha, you did very well. You did well. Oh, okay. You're back, Dave. Okay.
Yeah, no,
So-
Charles, you keep going because you're up anyhow.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say Martha did an excellent thing, recap there for us. I always love the way she pulls it together from her perspective, her point of view.
Thank you.
And she's you already related to your personal, which is always excellent. And I'm gonna follow right behind you and tell the story of T. Harv Eckert, how he was a young man, pretty much the son of immigrants. They moved to they came from Europe to Canada, and then in Canada to the U.S. And as a young lad, he wanted to be rich. And as he got older, he went the route that we're all told, get a good education, go to school, get a good job. So he tried that and made his way into college for the first year, and then he dropped out. And when he dropped out, he tried several different businesses, and none of them, they said there's over 10 businesses that he tried, and none of those businesses amounted to anything. And he found himself, pretty much like bankrupt, back home in his parents' basements in their lower condo, as they put it. And one day, a rich man happened to come over who was friends with T. Harv's father, and I guess the friend of the father, the wealthy guy, and the father were talking about the son. And the father was saying that his son is becoming a bum. And I need him out of my basement. So
Jeez.
the rich guy, he went and talked to T. Harv Eckert and told him, asked him some questions, like what is it that you want to do? What is it that you see yourself doing in the future? And he says, well, I want to be rich. And the rich guy said, well, that's not the main importance. You don't really strive to be rich. Being rich is an attribute of doing something. So what is it that you like to do? And he told him, it's not what you know, it's what you don't know. And he was saying, to be successful, you should study successful people. And that's what I want to get at, that he failed, but he learned to study other people. And that studying of other people, he was able to, amass several $1 million. He borrowed $2,000 from his credit card, and he was good in the sports industry. And he got one store, and then he talks about how he was able to quality versus quantity, supply versus demand. He was able to take that one store and compound it into many stores, and he ended up selling that store for millions or half of that store franchise for millions and millions of dollars to get him started, which helped him. People saw this, and he started doing counseling. And then, consulting work to help other people become successful. Because as Martha said, he asked God, if you would help me, the God, that might have been David that said this, the God of the universe, that if you help me, I will help other people. And
That's
I think
right.
that's one thing that we have to step out on faith and say that, listen, if we can help somebody, it's the law of reciprocity. You help someone, someone's definitely going to help you. And the rest is history. He started the Street Smart School, which he was able to write this book off of. And I mean, there's so much in the book that we could be here pretty much all night. I have many notes, but I think we did a pretty good job. We didn't cover all the 17 attributes, so I'm just going to I guess see if I can find one of them that I really liked, and I'll talk about that, then I'll be done. Okay, rich people are committed to being rich. Poor people want to be rich, but they don't want to do the work. So that's one thing I got from this. You have to be committed. through commitment is doing the thing. It's commitment is doing the thing that you said you would do far past the I guess the emotion and the time that you said you would do it in. So a commitment is not quitting. And that's the point that I wanted to bring out of the story. Like he told the story of the man walking along the cliff. He fell off the cliff and he cried out, "Is anybody up there to help me? Is anybody up there?" And then he cried out to God, "God, can you help me? Can you help me?" And God said, "Yes, just let go." Just let go. It'll be okay. Let go. And he said, "Is there anybody else up there that can help me?" Which I thought was a cool little story. But you have to be persevering. He was talking about there's a certain way that rich people go about doing stuff. He mentioned Donald Trump. Like him, love him, lump him, or leave him. You know, Donald Trump has not just a millionaire mindset, but he has a billionaire mindset, that he can lose everything that he has and still come back and have his own private jet, his own private plane, you know, a bunch of buildings with his name on it. So I don't know if the guy's a billionaire or not. You know, that remains to be seen after he shows his taxes. But I'm just saying that he took a hit, $32 billion, and he's still out there on top. Matter of fact, he even became president of the United States. So just not quitting is the point that I wanted to make, and that you know, success leaves clues. Success leaves clues, and you have to be committed to your commitments. And you can't complain about working too much. We can't complain about you paying your taxes. I guess one of my goals one day is to pay $1 million in taxes. That's what I was thinking about when I heard that part of the book. What else can I say real quick? And I think Martha hit on this one. Don't believe what people say. You know, rich people are greedy. You know, you have to change that subconsciousness of your mind. What is it? It was the verbal. You have to deal with the verbal, the modeling, and the specific incidents. You know, you can't let these things that happen to you persuade you once you get that mindset. And I believe in all these books, everyone had a laser focus on what they wanted to do and what they wanted to accomplish. And like I said, I believe that the millions and the billions were just attributes. And I'll end it there. David?
Yes, that's a lot to go over. You summed up a good chunk of the book, although there's a lot more to cover, but you did do.
I just enjoyed it. I kept going back and back over it.
And I did too, and
took a
Gina,
bunch of
and I'm pretty
notes.
certain Martha enjoyed it
It's
as
ridiculous.
well. Thank you, Charles. So before we continue offline, let's see what Ty has to say, if she has anything to say. Ty, do you want to say anything in reference to the book?
Sure. Hi,
Hey,
everyone. I hope
hey,
everyone's well.
wonderful.
Okay.
Like you just said, hey, I kept rewinding the book as well. It was that great. And I had to take notes because he was talking so fast. So I was like writing and rewinding and writing and rewinding. So I was to kind of like piggyback off of what Martha has said with the accounts to have, like when you're supposed to have more than one and like up to at least 4. But then he also said add 4 more on to that. And then I know he did say 1 for education, like just like to have money set aside, even if it's in a jar, like a jar I leave in my closet. And once I got to that, term to use it, it was about like almost $1,000 there. And I was just dropping money without even, realizing, just like something just kept saying, put the money in the money jar, like in the little penny jar or the water jar until it fills to the top. And then when I read the book or I listened to it, and he said, like at least once a month, take that time out to, to live like a rich person, to do whatever you want. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing that. I've been having my little massages and not all the time and not every month like I would like, but it does feel good when I'm able to do that and still be able to have like other money where it's like not like overlapping. So this book was definitely a good read. And thanks for suggesting it, Charles. I learned a lot and I'm definitely gonna go back.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles, yes, for suggesting this book. And Ty, thank you for your input, as well as Gina, Martha, and Charles. Your inputs are amazing. And I do want to say one thing, since nobody else said it. How do you keep yourself accountable to your money? By keeping trace of where you're spending it and how you're saving it, where you're investing it, and so on. I know I don't have a record yet to this day, in that I'm looking over my numbers on a daily basis. However, I know where I'm investing it right now. If you understand what I'm saying. If you have debt, hey, you have two options. You either pay it off, pay off a little bit and pay yourself, or you avoid not paying it at all. I mean, but that's on you. Where do you see your priorities? How do you see that? Right now, I'm investing in building, as I told Reggie, Charles, I don't remember who else was on the call, that I started breaking ground on building in Dominican Republic. And right now we're building over there, and I invest a few $1,000s every month. And, I'd say by the time 2 or 3 years comes around, I should have something worthwhile that will reach me closer to my goals, as Reggie said. And I remember, as he said, because he knows a bit more about real estate than I do, is that most people will say they want something, but they never get started. And I feel I'm ahead of the game then, because I'm already getting started, and it's cost. There's a cost behind it, but it's not as expensive as it would be, let's say, in the US or some other territory where everything is so much more expensive. So keep track of your expenses, your investments, your savings. Keep track of it. How are you spending it? If you're looking to spend on something, think about it. Do you really need it, or do you just want it? I was looking to spend on a speaker, and I told my wife, if I get the speaker, it would be great, but then I can only imagine that everybody else will have a speaker, so I'm not going to get it. And that's it. Case closed. So this is it for the Mastermind Book Club, everyone. For next week, we're going to have a book that refers to profit. For next week, it's a very good book. There's a very good review on this book, on this audio book, and we're going to be listening to it for next week. So stay tuned, as tomorrow we'll post it in our Facebook group and in our private WhatsApp group. Take care.